together.
I've got joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart. I've got joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart to stay. And I'm so happy, so very happy. I've got the love of Jesus in my heart. And I'm so happy, so very happy. I've got the love of Jesus in my heart. I've got joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart. I've got joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart to stay. And I'm so happy, so very happy. I've got the love of Jesus in my heart. And I'm so happy, so very happy. I've got the love of Jesus in my heart. I've got joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart. I've got joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart to stay.
We've all heard the story of Adam and Eve so many times. It's probably one of the most easiest ones to read from the children's Bible because it's right at the beginning. And it's quite entertaining. There's a snake and forbidden fruits you're not allowed to eat. Wow. But have you ever thought about the loneliness that Adam and Eve must have experienced there when the reality of their choice struck them? Can you imagine the regret and self-blame, the shame over their weakness? Can you think of how angry they were at themselves and at each other for not being strong enough to help, not in a good space to be in? Maybe you also have felt the same way. Can you imagine what it must have felt like to believe you had to hide from the one you love, the most important one, and whom you put all your trust in for your whole life? I wonder why they really hid. Maybe from the disappointment of God, from lovelessness. Would God remain angry? From the consequences of their actions? Interesting that in their hiding place, they had to bear the disappointment of themselves and deal with the lack of love for themselves and the consequences thereof. The result is this loneliness, because sin that hasn't been dealt with causes you to turn away from God and remain trapped in a lonely hiding place. Perhaps you're hiding because you're afraid you're no longer good enough. You don't know if you can bear the consequences. This is exactly what sin does. It pushes you into a hole that you feel this is where you belong. Or you can listen and look at how God comes to fetch you there where you are struggling. With all that is difficult, the guilt, the being alone, you can take His hand and deal with these things, the sin that causes this feeling. Because there is a future ahead, it's not too late. Why are you hiding? God is searching for you too.
The serpent was the cleverest of all the wild animals the Lord God had made. One day he asked the woman, "Did God really say you must not eat the fruit from any of the trees in the garden?" "Of course we may eat fruit from the trees in the garden," the woman replied. It's only the fruit from the tree in the middle of the garden that we are not allowed to eat, God said. You must not eat it or even touch it. If you do, you will die. You won't die, the serpent replied to the woman. God knows that your eyes will be opened as soon as you eat it, and you will be like God, knowing both good and evil. The woman was convinced. She saw that the tree was beautiful and its fruit looked delicious, and she wanted the wisdom it would give her. So she took some of the fruit and ate it. Then she gave some to her husband, who was with her, and he ate it too. At that moment their eyes were opened, and they suddenly felt shame at their nakedness. So they sewed fig leaves together to cover themselves. When the cool evening breezes were blowing, the man and his wife heard the Lord God walking about in the garden. So they hid from the Lord God among the trees. Then the Lord God called to the man, "Where are you?" He replied, "I heard you walking in the garden, so I hid. I was afraid because I was naked." "Who told you that you were naked?" the Lord God asked. "Have you eaten from the tree whose fruit I commanded you not to eat?" The man replied, "It was the woman you gave me who gave me the fruit, and I ate it." Then the Lord God asked the woman, "What have you done?" "The serpent deceived me," she replied. "That's why I ate it."
I always thought that the biggest consequence of Adam and Eve's disobedience was that they had to leave the Garden of Eden. There's also real consequences for our actions that makes us deal with a new, difficult reality even if we are forgiven. I only later realized in my life that the consequences for Adam and Eve was much more intense, and that it has more to do with their own doing than God's. They were in deep trouble and loneliness where they estranged themselves from God. It doesn't come from God, but from their side, because all of a sudden they have a lot of issues that makes them feel they need to hide. I'm sure you've had that feeling, that you can't say what you did because you are scared of your parents' reaction. I think that broke God's heart more than the fruit they wrongly ate. Because of that, God comes closer and looks for Adam and Eve. He's also searching for you. He doesn't want to leave things like that. He doesn't want sin to cause a rift between you and him. It is quite something to think about sin and forgiveness like that. God saves me from loneliness by being without him, by forgiving me. I get a second, third, and 100th chance to live in such a way that I don't feel that I need to turn away and cope on my own. The reality is that no matter what you do, he will come and get you. He wants to be your friend. He cares for you. He doesn't give you any ultimatums. He doesn't threaten you with what you did wrong. So yes, unfortunately, when you lie to your parents and you get caught, they will probably ground you. And when you steal a chocolate in a shop and that beeper thingy goes off, you will be in big trouble. But God won't write you off. He will forgive you, and he will come and get you where you are and invite you to try again and to do better next time. If you allow it, God will show you that you are not loved any less. He will remind you that your friendship is not over. He still loves you so very much. So here's the bottom line. If you do something wrong, admit it, be sorry, face the consequences, and realize that you are forgiven and still loved. He will come and get you. So why would you hide? He loves you very much.
Lord, thank you that we can turn to you and know that you are our God and that you are with us and that you have so much grace for us no matter what. Thank you that we can turn to you no matter what we do wrong and know that you have grace for us and that you will help us to be better